Okay, I just wanted to thank you for having me, and I just wanted to introduce my company and myself. Those who have joined yesterday know that we are doing software for tokenization in a way that is very near to the software that we are used to in e-commerce. So our company was founded more or less exactly 4 years ago, and we did that because we saw that crypto is a very powerful technology, but it is very hard to access. And so we decided to do an approach that we combine the learned technologies from e-commerce, from Web 2 with the Web 3 technology. And this one is working now? Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when we read this title, it sounds very big. And why is it so? Actually, because we are talking about technology. But it is only technology, and people actually don't care about technology when they use a tool or something like this. They just want to achieve something. And I like the example of Adri this morning with the car. I have a different one, maybe more for the digital technology that we represent here. Who of you is using email? I guess everybody, yeah? Who of you knows about the simple mail transfer protocol, the SMTP protocol? Wow, okay. Who of you knows about TCP/IP and how it works? Some more, yeah? And who of you ever heard about the OC reference model? Oh, again, the same. Okay, we have a bubble of technicians here that know about it because they probably design processes in using this technology. They know about the problems, but actually the user and the business models, they only rely on the results. And what we are doing actually is that we are talking too much about the technology, and we do not see what is actually to be achieved. What we want to see here is somebody wants to buy something in e-commerce, yeah? Just wants to have a process, a trusted, reliable process to give money and to get some good, yeah? Nobody cares about that there is a database, that there is some payment system, that there is some identification, that there is certification or something like this. It's completely unimportant for the user, and this is what we as an industry should learn, that we try to think more in what is actually the goal that we want to achieve and talk less about the technology and less about the risks of the technology. So, as I said, humans care about fast, easy, secure and reliable processes, and token and blockchain, they are not a value as itself. They are only a value if they are embedded in processes that give some value to somebody. Not only in the financial industry, maybe in some industry where machine-to-machine payment is done. We are always talking about payment because these are the natural transactions we see in the blockchain, but there are a lot of other use cases that might use the possibilities blockchain is giving us. Value is connection to opportunities. Value is, for example, buyer-to-seller relationship. It is some value to some counter-value relationship. It is not technology. And what we have to learn to communicate is that tokenization and blockchain give us new ways to connect people, to connect processes, to connect people and values. And in reality, we talk about blockchain and tokenization, but we should talk and should act as digital enablers. Because if you see blockchain as a new layer of technology above the internet, it is some people say on-chain is the new online. It is another layer of public infrastructure where business models, relationships, not only business models, use cases, relationships, can be established in a new way. And this is how we should act, and not talk about tokens and blockchain and some algorithms that make sure that everything is really settled, and consensus algorithms or consensus. It's not important. We need to find out how we can use this technology and all the things that this technology provides to really create value and connection. Having said this, this is our situation. We see ourselves as digital enablers, and we are based in Germany, and Germany at least has the reputation that we are the world championships in regulation. I'm not sure if this really is true. We had some examples yesterday that France is at least hitting for the second place, but if we can do this in Germany, we thought then we can do it everywhere. Yeah? And the regulator or the legal authorities started with the EWPG, with the actually 3.5 years ago, and they gave us a legal framework for tokenizing bonds and other other securities. And they started with a bond because it's easy to understand. A bond is a very common financial instrument. It doesn't have many rules. You give money, you get some interest, and you get the money back after some time. That's pretty easy. Yeah? And to tokenize this still had a lot of things to think about, because it is a regulated financial instrument. Yeah? And this is what we try to do to get the technology in place to connect the traditional bond with the blockchain and the advantages it gives. Yeah? Okay, so what did we do? I brought with you some examples that I really like, because at the end of the I can tell you both of the examples I can show you, they were pioneers, and at the end they failed. Not because of the technology, not because of the regulation, because of some other reasons. Yeah? But here it was one example that I really liked, because this hotel group said, okay, they understood that just replacing the way a bond is issued with another way is not really giving any value. And they tried to think a little bit further, and they said, okay, you can get money as an interest, but you also can get vouchers with a good discount to use our hotels. And this project was never really hit the road, because for some other reasons this hotel group went bankrupt. But it was the first example that we saw that somebody said, hey, just replacing the Clearstream process with a blockchain progress doesn't really bring any value. We need to find some way to incentivize the people to use our platform to invest here, and we need some reach and some to those investors. And they said, well, maybe our customers can be our investors, and we can keep the money and the costs of the process in the ecosystem. Yeah, this is something that I really like, because it is not only replacing the old technology or the old way, but it's also trying to give value to those who invest in a different way. Yeah? The second example is a small company that was the first company in Germany that issued digital shares. It was a small company, and it actually was easy from our point of view. It was easy from the point of view of the BaFin, for our surprise. And at the end of the day, what happened here is we could tokenize shares, and it worked perfectly from the legal, regulatory, and process, and from the technology, from the point of view of technology. And what didn't work is, and this is one of the biggest problems right now, is that they they overestimated their capability to reach the investors and to generate the trust to really invest in their companies using such a process. And this is something where we do not talk about when we talk about tokenization, that there are layers above the technical and regulatory layer that needs to be addressed to have a successful tokenization project or a digitalization project, in this case, when it comes to investment. Yeah? They were pioneers, and they paid the price that a lot of pioneers had to pay, but it was a very good learning for us to see at least another proof that it takes much more than tokenization and technical and legal excellence to make a project like this successful. Yeah? Okay. Having said that, what's actually next and what do we need to achieve? We need to involve the ownership in transactions, and we need to find the use cases where trust and reliability matters, and the audience is able to understand that we do that with using technology, and they are able to take the risk, or that they're willing to take the risk, sorry. And how do we do that? We need to incentivize the people that are investing somehow with some things that are not common and that are not comparable to what we have in the traditional finance to take the risk. Yeah? The same example like that I brought yesterday was when did e-commerce really take off? When there was a player that offered trust and convenience. Amazon was the driver for e-commerce, at least in Germany. They made clear that their attitude is to please their customers. And if there's something wrong with the good, and some other online shops went into discussions if you can send it back, they just took it back. They just did it. Yeah? They were abused a lot of times. But on the other hand, they created value, and they created a trademark, Amazon, that worked for the people. And then e-commerce took off. And it was not that you could get some goods from somewhere else. That was already done with the catalog senders. It was that you do have a seamless process, an easy process, and that you can be sure that you send it back and everything works fine. Yeah? That was the value that was added, that incentivized my mother to ask me to install a modem. Yeah? It's 20 years ago, but she wanted to have the same. Yeah? She didn't want to go into the city to buy a vacuum cleaner anymore. Yeah? She just wanted to buy it, and then they added some other values like all these remarks to products, all these ratings that they included. So they combined the possibility to buy something and to judge the value of something. And that was what they achieved, and that was what e-commerce made successful. And we need something like this here too. And how can we achieve that? We can add processes that make things easy. And we are doing a lot of proof of concepts right now. We are talking about carbon credits. This is not a financial product, but we are talking about carbon credit because they are easy to issue, they are easy to redeem, and they are easy to, it's very transparent for everybody, for the regulator, for the publicity, for everybody to see that those carbon credits were issued by somebody who can issue them, that they were bought by somebody, and that they were redeemed and in the balance in 2024 or 2023. Yeah? And we have certificates, water rights, biodiversity credits, plastic credits. All these things are examples where we can easily add value to the process, so that some of those things even can be made available, because otherwise it would be impossible and too expensive. Yeah? We have voting rights, very interesting thing right now. Voting rights is something we are working on in cooperatives, and here we have the problem that, for example, if you want to have a vote in a political party, and you need to decide something, and you have to ask all your members, then it's really costing lots of money. Yeah? For example, I have an example that in Berlin, one of the bigger parties, they wanted to do that, and they said, okay, this is like 60 to 100,000 euros just to ask one question and to get the votings for. And this is something where you can really bring value to with tokenization, and it's not only financial products. Citizen share, social impact, bonds, tokenization, donations, everywhere we need to find something that incentivizes the people to be part of the process and to make it more easy. And this is true for both of them, for the participants and for the issuer. Yeah? Okay. Adding AI to the mix. This is something, yesterday I already said it, where we might have some acceleration of the tokenization, of using tokenization as part of the digitalization process, because AI needs to rely on data, rely on transaction data that they are really reliable. And blockchain and tokenization just makes sure that this is working. And this might accelerate things, especially if we are talking about these AI agents that are arising right now, that need to not only to be able to decide something, but to execute the decision. And this, their tokenization and blockchain actually is a natural fit. Yeah? Okay, and this is actually it. What I wanted to tell you that in the application, in the real world application of tokenization actually only is a very small part of the digitalization process, and that we need to think bigger, and that we need to find ways where we can find incentivations for all parties, the issuer and the users, to use these technologies to see some value that is not possible with other technologies or the centralized system. Just replacing the settlement of transactions of assets is not what will last. Thank you very much.